And as you see, these are the highlights from the Ole Miss first loss. Now, welcome to Rebel Watch. I'm Kelsey Davis, and joining me is the always upbeat Fred Nettles. Welcome to Rebel Watch. I'm Kelsey Davis, and joining me is my co-host and the always upbeat Fred Nettles. Fred, was that Ole Miss game a little tough for you to watch this weekend?
Man, Kelsey, listen, yes, it was very tough. That was a tough one to watch, especially after the Rebs fast start on both sides of the ball. I also hate to see cornerback Darius Webster go down with that season-ending injury. He's such a great kid, very humble, very hardworking, and from what I gathered, he added about 15 pounds to his frame this season. So it was a tough evening for me overall.
I couldn't agree more. I was in the stands, and let me tell you, it wasn't too much fun for me either, but let's break down this first game. Anyways, roll the highlights. All right, so this is Francois, the quarterback's first start as a redshirt freshman. Here you see Chad Kelly drop back to DK Metcalf with the tip and the touchdown. He looks like a chip right off the old block.
Oh, yeah, he's an Ole Miss Lex, that DK Metcalf. Here we have Francois drops back. He rolls to the left but passes to Dalvin Cook going up the sideline on the right. He could go all the way, Kelsey. Oh, my God. He drops the football at the 4-yard line.
Had absolutely no one there, but now you see, again, Akeem Judd with a little move and shakes him free for the touchdown on a 10-yard run for the Rebels.
Oh, yeah, the Rebels go up 28-6. Here, right before the half, we have Francois drops back and passes to Travis Rudolph. He takes a hit from Marquise Haynes.
Now, the second half, that really started the momentum, but here, Francois, you see him go, and he could go all the way, but not quite, as he falls right out of bounds at the goal line.
On the very next play, Francois snaps the ball. He gives it to the fullback. He stopped at the 1-yard line, but after they review it, he goes in to score the touchdown.
You can see he gets low, drives his legs, and gets across the line for the Seminoles. Touchdown, Seminoles. Now, we can see that there's a sack by Walker on Chad Kelly. That was the first, or one of his 4.5 of the half, and one of the 4 turnovers of the game.
Oh, yeah, here we have the reverse to Whitfield to go in for the touchdown from Francois.
And again, Seminoles touchdown with Francois going to Ryan Izzo in the back of the end zone. And the final score for the Rebels, they just couldn't do it, 34-45 Florida State. Let's go to the post-game report with Nick Donovan.
With 3 minutes left to go in the first half, Ole Miss took a commanding 28-6 lead after an 11-yard touchdown run from Akeem Judd. The Rebel fans were roaring in their seats, the Seminole fans quiet. Chad Kelly had 3 passing touchdowns, and everything seemed right in the world. But then the second half happened. Florida State scored 33 unanswered points, including 23 alone in the third quarter, as they defeated Ole Miss by a final score of 45-34. After the game, Coach Freeze said the biggest impact of the second half were the 2 consecutive turnovers by Ole Miss, which gave Florida State 2 easy scoring opportunities. Although this was a tough loss for Ole Miss and they could have started their season with a bang, Coach Freeze says this journey is far from over for this team. Ole Miss will look to bounce back next weekend against Wofford on Saturday at 3 o'clock at Vaught-Hemingway. From Camping World Stadium in Orlando, I'm Nick Donovan.
All right, Fred, let's break down this loss. What went wrong for the Rebels?
Well, Kelsey, definitely careless turnovers. Florida State scored 28 points off of 4 Ole Miss turnovers. Ole Miss would not win any significant games this season if they continue to have careless turnovers on the offensive side of the ball. Of the 4, Ole Miss Chad Kelly had 2 inexcusable interceptions and a fumble, which cannot happen, especially if the Rebels want to at least compete with the Alabama Crimson Tide here in 2 weeks. Also, the Land Shark defense was on the field entirely too long, man. On 2 occasions, they had the Seminoles at 3rd and 10 or longer and failed to get off the field. Their time of possession was completely lopsided at 42 minutes to 18. Lastly, the Rebels allow redshirt freshman Francois to throw for over 400 yards after only allowing 234 yards last season. They have to grow up in the secondary. They're very young. They need to buckle down and hopefully the coaches can get them ready for this SEC gauntlet they have coming up.
Right, and speaking of growing up, one of the places the Rebels really need to do that is right there in that offensive line. You saw them really hold off the Seminoles in the first half, but as it got later in the game, the protection broke down, the pocket broke down, and Chad Kelly had no time to throw the ball. You saw the sack from Walker in the highlights. It just didn't work out. So, like we said, Alabama in 2 weeks, if that O-line does not grow up, they're not going to stand a chance. But, Rebel fans, there is one team standing in the way of that always anticipated Alabama game, and they are the Wofford Terriers. Let's take a look at what their coach has to say about the upcoming matchup.
Group of kids that are beside themselves with worry. I mean, just it was very difficult from an emotional standpoint. But at the same time, you know, things turned out for the best. Michael survived, and we had to go back and we had to play a football game. And I was very proud of the way that the kids refocused, the way that they went out and competed, and they got the job done. Unless you've been through something like that, it's so hard to explain. You have every emotion running through you. I said before, these kids, they come into our lives, and some of them are here for 4 years, some of them 4.5, and they become your own children. And when my own children hurt, I hurt, and it's no different with these guys. And then you have a life and death situation like Michael went through, and the fear of thinking about what possibly could happen is very scary.
Now, Fred, the Ole Miss Rebels, as I said, will be taking on the Wofford Terriers this week, but as you heard their coach say, they're in a little bit of a special situation this week. Last week, linebacker Michael Roach went into cardiac arrest on the field. Fred, this is obviously a tough situation for the Terriers. How do you mentally prepare for a hostile SEC environment after facing such adversity?
Kelsey, honestly, I can empathize with them a little bit. I had a similar situation as this, but not quite as severe when I was in high school. My star wide receiver tore his ACL in the first series against our rival opponent. It was the third game of the year, and our team was very devastated. Luckily, we had a great group of coaches to keep our heads level and mind focused on what we had to do in order to get ready for our next game and the rest of the season. So I trust that the Terriers coaching staff will have a plan in place for the guys to continue pushing forward in their long season.
We'll have to see, and we'll keep Michael Roach in our thoughts as this week approaches. But when we come back, we'll take a look at which high school game had a little extra action this week. Keep it locked on Rebel Watch. Welcome back to Rebel Watch. Last week proved to be an exciting one for Mississippi high school football, and the Lafayette-Grenada matchup was no different. Let's roll the highlights. Now, as I said, Lafayette went to Grenada, and it was a little bit of a slow first half, but here we see Lafayette QB Will Ard is faced with back-to-back sacks.
Oh yeah, here's the second sack right here of the in the first half.
And he's going back-to-back.
Oh yeah,
sacks.
the Alabama fans know something about that.
All right, so as the first half ends 0-0, but here we see the second half gets a little more exciting, and they get a score in the fourth quarter as Grenada running back is handed the ball and makes a beautiful TD.
Oh yeah, here we have the Lafayette Commodores makes a touchdown pass to the wide receiver.
Doors with a little bit of an answer, but they couldn't hold off Grenada as with 6 minutes left, fullback Dion House finds a breakaway for a touchdown. And here he goes all the way. Grenada to the house. Grenada takes it, final score of 14-7 over the Lafayette Commodores. Let's go to the post-game report with Danielle Oropeza.
Game report, I'm here with 4-star safety CJ Avery. First off, congrats on tonight's win.
Thank you.
Y'all have had some pretty stellar wins so far. How do you feel about going into the rest of the season?
I feel confident. I feel like our defense, we played a heck of a game. Our offense, they would get in practice and go over some things. We'll be all right.
Where would you say y'all's motivation stems from?
I say, man, this game right here was revenge. They came in last year and just blowed us out, physically they beat us, but we came in this year and played a heck of a game.
Well, as a senior, how do you focus on this season and where you may play next season?
Oh, man, I just kind of sit recruiting to the side for a little bit and focus on my team because I know this is my last shot at high school. So I feel like after this season, I'll be doing all the recruiting.
Any idea on where you may go?
No, I don't know it all.
Well, thank you so much. You can catch the Grenada Chargers play at Memphis University next Friday. For Rebel Watch, I'm Daniela Oropeza.
And as we said, that game ended up 14-7 in Grenada's favor. But it was not all football this past weekend as the Ole Miss soccer team took on the Troy Trojans Sunday. Let's roll those highlights. Now, as I said, the Ole Miss Rebels took on the Troy Trojans here in Oxford. And here we have there's Gretchen Harknett from a corner from CC Kaiser to Gretchen Harknett. She tries to take it into the goal, but not much going on. Now, this is Troy's only real chance as they get into the box. Liva Harbin gets there, and then a great save from Marnie Merritt.
Great save.
And here we go again, a corner from CC Kaiser. And this time, Gretchen Harknett is able to find the back of the net with 3 minutes left for the Rebels, coming in clutch as can be. And that'll be the only score of the game. 1-0, Ole Miss takes the win. Let's go to the post-game report with Abby McIntosh.
Welcome to the Rebel Watch post-game report. I'm here with tonight's hero, Gretchen Harknett. First off, Gretchen, congrats on the win.
Thank you very much.
Take me through that goal. What were you thinking?
There's a lot of bodies in there, and every little window that came up, you have to shoot, and it was just really nice that my teammates were working hard for me, and I got a little window, and I shot, and it went in.
Perfect. So you're coming off the loss against Michigan. You're coming off the 1-0 win against Troy tonight. What do you think y'all need to work on headed into Friday's game against Mizzou?
I think we just need to work on passing the ball a little quicker, a little cleaner. SEC play starts next week, so they're going to be hard. They're going to be out for us. It's 3 points on the line now. I think we need to just crisp passes, a little more movement off the ball, and we'll be good.
Thank you, Gretchen. Reporting for Rebel Watch, I'm Abby McIntosh.
And after the break, we'll find out which plays were top of the top. Keep it right here on Rebel Watch. Welcome back to Rebel Watch. Now, even with an Ole Miss loss this weekend, there were some great plays. Let's take a look at those top plays of the week.
Second down handoff, Judd. Sutter steps and gets into the end zone. Right now, 3 minutes left. Rebels, though, score. Kelly. Jump ball. Caught. Touchdown. DK Metcalf.
All right, Fred, so as we've said, the Ole Miss Rebels are taking on the Wofford Terrier this weekend here in the first game in the VOT of the season. I think the picks this week are going to be a little bit of a no-brainer, but give it to me anyways. Who you got?
Kels, it's going to be a big week for Ole Miss. I think they're going to get the rest their starters for the entire second half. So I'm going to pick the Rebels 70-6.
All right, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think there are actually a lot of positive things that come out of this game. Like you said, you get to rest some key players. Anyone who's beat up, get a little bit of time off, and, you know, a good confidence booster going into, as we said, Alabama. I'm taking Ole Miss 2 over Wofford 56-3. And this week we have an exciting announcement that you will now be able to get your weekly dose of Rebel Watch on Max South Sports Channel 31. So tune in on your TVs every Monday to see us and get your weekend recap of all the Ole Miss and Lafayette County sports. Now that's all we have for you today. Follow us on Twitter at @Rebel_Watch, and we also now have a Snapchat. So add us at RebelWatchUM, and be sure to tune in to Channel 31 on Max South Sports next Monday. Have a great day.